So we're gonna be doing We the People, how the 7 habits are used in the great whatchamacallit.
So
Yeah, the
7 habits.
Constitution making.
Yeah, when they with the great with the great compromise.
Yeah.
So how they use the 7 habits.
They obviously synergized since they were
they work together.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to be independent and not trust anyone with a giant convention, and you just don't talk and don't talk and don't talk. And they all disagreed for a while until they put a little group aside. Then they synergized perfectly, and they made they said, all right, the 2 people for Senate for each state. The House of Representatives is for 30,000 for each person, and yeah, that's how they synergize. You want to do like the next one that you think of?
Yeah, I'm gonna go check the 7 habits.
Okay, real quick. Here, I know them. I know them straight off the bat. All right, so they were proactive in there, since being proactive is not being selfish and caring about others and yourself. And they were all caring for each other's ideas, but they wanted their idea to win. And I'm talking about proactive right now, just to tell you, so if you want to add in on that. So they wanted their idea to win, but they also cared for the others after the compromise.
Yeah, they also
No, here, let's do proactive for like a couple more minutes. But being proactive, you're caring about everyone else, not being selfish. And they did a pretty good job of that at the Philadelphia Convention. Right? You want to do the next one?
Put first things first, and they put a separate group aside, because when they did that, they didn't want to focus their whole convention on this one thing, because that would take up most of their time. So they set a group aside of
delegates.
Framers to try to put together this
dispute, pretty much.
Yeah.
You said the phrase.
So then they could work differently, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they did a pretty good job putting first things first too, because they created the Constitution. Okay, that's still there in Washington.
Yeah, because they separated the groups to make that compromise.
So they're putting the bigger stuff first, so they can handle in this little dispute they're putting out the door.
So they could still work on the Constitution and decide other things.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
They also thought win-win.
Oh yes, definitely.
Because if they didn't, there would have been no
compromise.
There would have been no compromise if they didn't think win-win.
Because they just said, okay, let's set aside a group of delegates, and they do it. And they were thinking win-win after that compromise came off, which is one of the greatest compromises there ever was.
Because if they didn't think win-win, one of the bigger states or the smaller states would have been going out unhappy.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think they left pretty happy. It's 2 in Senate, 30,000 per population for House of Representatives. But, yeah, so, anyway else they were thinking win-win? I mean, well, they obviously, since I think they all wanted their idea to work, but they didn't really care if it did. They just wanted their idea since they've worked so hard on it. Alright, I think they sharpened the saw, to be honest, since George Washington was having a fun time down in his ranch in Virginia on Vernon Hill.
What sharpen the saw again?
Sharpen the saw is like helping,
balance feels best.
Yeah, balancing, like, at exercise, play, and, like, all the stuff you like and the stuff you don't like.
Yeah.
So he loves to farm. He's been farming for 7 years, and they come up to his hill and say, hey, George, can you come down and help us with the Philadelphia Convention to decide the Constitution? Can you be the president of it? And he said, okay, I guess I'll help it. Well, I think it took a little bit more argument than that, but yeah.
They also sharpened the saw in the compromise, because they made 2 houses, and those 2 houses had to work together to make a law.
Yeah, Senate and House Representatives.
And
All right.
in one of those houses, there was equal to Rhode Island and Virginia, and in the House of Representatives, it wasn't. So
All right.
evened it out.
What do you think what's the last one again? It's
Begin with the
Oh wait, no, we haven't. Never mind. Begin
Have a
with the
look.
end in mind. Okay, so they began. Actually, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So how they seek first to understand, then to be understood. Sorry, we have low memory. But how they did that was they said there's parts, and then
And then
well,
the framers listened until they spoke. So they're using
seek first to understand, then to be understood, and they're just all the 7 habits were used in there.
Yeah, so it was all in all a good compromise.
Yeah. All right. Would you say that wraps it up?
Bye.